Hello, this is part 3 of our 5th and final chapter of our Mystery Museum Whodunnit. Even later that day, the curator led the kids from the ancient Egypt experience back to the portrait gallery at the entrance to the museum. Some extra guests were there for the week's finale. They included the museum's art, science, music, story, and games experts. Shirky Holmes was already there, looking intently at the odd painting by the wheelchair entrance with the plaque that said, Treester. Shirky waited until all the kids came in and then said, I've solved the case. Everyone was surprised. Shirky continued, That's right. I've solved the case of the missing portraits. Everyone watched as Shirky reached up to the painting. Some of the kids even gasped as she pulled off the hat and the axe. Finally, Shirky removed the Treester plaque, revealing that it was covering up an original plaque that read, Esther. This is the missing Esther portrait, Shirky stated confidently. I even know where all the portraits are located. You'll find them hidden throughout the museum with fake disguises and plaques like this one. How could that be? Asked Miss Purple. That could be because the mastermind of the whole plan placed them there. And that mastermind is... Stop! A new voice rang out across the museum. It was the museum's art expert, confessing, I did it. No, I did it, said the museum's science expert. It was me, said the museum's storytelling expert. I took the portrait, said the museum's music expert. I'm the one who did it, said the museum's games expert. What in the world is going on here? Exclaimed Miss Purple. Did everyone do it? Not everyone, said Shirky, but the whole museum staff did work together to pull it all off. My only question is why? Blessed are the merciful, for they will receive mercy. That's why, said the art expert. Blessed are the pure in heart, for they will see God. That's why, said the science expert. Blessed are the meek, for they will inherit the earth, said the story expert. Blessed are the poor in spirit, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven, said the music expert. Blessed are the peacemakers, for they will be called children of God, said the games expert. Of course, it all makes sense now, said Shirky. These leaders took these portraits because they were inspired by the Bible characters in these portraits. Oh, I see, said Miss Purple. I got to be each of those characters for just a little bit. Esther, Mary Magdalene, Deborah, Tabitha, and Miriam all inspired me to be like them. These museum experts just moved the portraits to the places in the museum where they really belong. And the mastermind of the whole thing was the curator, said Shirky. The curator? But that's not possible, said Miss Purple. Each painting has gone missing during one of my performances. The curator was right in front of everyone during each of those performances. How true, said Shirky. That's the brilliance of this plan. Let's consider the clues. We discovered a note on the accessibility plan pamphlet. We found a note with the phone that had invisible hero trailers. We found a note with the vacuum filled with garden soil. We found the note with the stinky sock. And today, we found another note. There wasn't anything special with that note, Miss Purple pointed out. That's what I thought at first, Shirky replied. But I had a suspicion. So I went and checked the note against the favorite book clipboard. They're using the same type of paper. That's the clipboard that the curator was using, said Miss Purple. In fact, the curator also had smelly socks in the new clothing room by the ancient China area. The curator had soil in the medieval Europe Encounters garden. The curator even had building bricks at the free therapy station in the Hall of Inventions. And now that I think of it, the curator was pretty proud of the special accessibility plan too. The curator did do it! But how? Never mind. Arrest the curator! The curator stood in silence for another moment, then finally said, How could I do anything else after I learned about Jesus' Beatitudes? I had to get out into the world to be the sort of person that Jesus said was blessed. These characters in Jesus' Beatitudes teach us that being blessed means making yourself a blessing to others through including others, sharing God's love, protecting others, serving others, and making peace. I had to make the museum share that same message. The curator looked sadly at Shirky. I guess you'll have to arrest me now. Actually, said Shirky, I don't have to arrest you at all. The portraits are still in the museum. And as the curator, you're in charge of the portraits and all the exhibits, which means you can put them wherever you like. No crime has been committed. In fact, I think you've done a really good thing. Do you really think so? Asked the curator. I sure do, Miss Purple chimed in. That's a huge relief, said the curator. I've been nervous all week long about you solving the case. It was my pleasure to solve this case. Even if it turned out not to be a crime I was solving, but instead a mystery of faithfulness, said Shirky. This might be my greatest case of all, the case of the missing portraits, where the portraits weren't really missing. They were telling the amazing story of God's love. Case closed.